Hi, Patience. How are you? Welcome.
Thank you.
All right, people. Welcome to our final day of Manyata screenings. My name is Mugambi Nthiga. I think we are live now on YouTube. It's so wonderful to be here. I really enjoyed your films, guys. Thank you so much for making these films. Thank you for sharing your work and your art with us. Thank you so much for loving on your audience. You've made us think, made us laugh. You've made us enjoy all these awesome experiences, and I just want to say thank you. My name is Mugambi Nthiga, and I'm going to be taking these wonderful people, Patience, Kamikazi, and Semagngeta. I hope I said that correctly, but are you allowed for us to use that name in describing you? So we're just going to have a conversation about your films, guys. Just a good time as we wrap up this Manyata Festival screening. I am in the middle of traffic, believe it or not. That's why the light is going to be changing. It's almost curfew time in Nairobi, and everyone is trying to make their way back in the city, and it's crazy. So, guys, how are you doing? How do you feel after watching those screenings in front of a virtual audience and with a virtual audience? How are you guys feeling? You don't have questions.
Um, I don't know who goes first. um, I would say personally, it's for me it's the first time having this virtual screening experience. So I would say it was pretty new. It's very new, and I was a bit nervous. I mean, you can't really see people's reactions. So you're just hoping. Yeah, I
Free
hope
world, guys. Go ahead.
the message goes through. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's the
Good
same
times. We're
for
just having a
me.
conversation, kicking it, like Africans like to do. No one ever wants to not speak first.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just saying, I think it's the same for me. Just being in the space, and of course, I had to watch the chat and see like what people are saying about the films and stuff. But also like having the internet issues we do on the continent. You're hoping that everything goes well, and the thing is like sometimes at some screenings I've had almost similar issues where the speaker doesn't work or stuff like that, so it's interesting to see the digital version of that mess. So yeah.
Hello everyone. So my network is a bit bad around here now. So I didn't hear what the. If you can tell me what we are talking about, I can go in now.
Looks like it's just the two of us.
Hi, guys. I'm Esman, the general dog's body at Manyata screenings. I'm just going to step in for a second and hold fort until we get Mugambi back. The filmmakers that we have with us are Kamikazi, who made Breath of Fresh Difference, yes, and Patience, who made Communion. Kia made Love and Brain. He keeps dropping in and out, and we'll do our best to keep bringing him back. And I think that was everyone. Who have I missed? Oh, Mugambi's coming back. No? Yes? Yes? Yeah. Awesome. Very good. Hi, Mugambi.
Thank you for holding fort for me. I guess I'd ask that
Sure.
you please stay here just in case this happens again. Hi.
Hello. I shall step out and step back in should I need
You're going to
to.
be in the room with me, hold my hand, all of that good stuff.
Always, always. Always, always.
Awesome, guys. I think I got what you just said.
Oof. Okay.
So, as my driver is here and as we're trying to just struggle through this traffic jam, I want to ask. Sure. Okay, so you're there on standby just in case anything happens, right?
Yeah. Yes.
All right. So I like to start a conversation about both films after finding out how they feel after watching them. You guys really ought to be proud. If we're talking about a lack of feedback, it was just lack of feedback in the way that we understand. These are strange times, of course. We could see people really engaged, lots of conversations. And I was wondering what the original spark was for these films. Was it an image? Was it an idea? Was it a line? Patience, for instance, your film had a lot of spoken word in it, as did Kamikaze's. Did it come from a line? Kamikaze, I think I should let you know. I did go to film academy, so I did live for the 5 months in Stuttgart and in Ludwigsburg, so I could feel every single line that you were saying.
Awesome.
The fuck they are
with the
oh, we're a family here.
I'm so glad. I've heard so much about you through Shenje. I think you guys went at the same time.
Yes, we did. Yeah.
Yeah, so good stuff, good stuff. I'm glad you liked it.
Yes, then. So I just want to know the origins were of these ideas. I mean, Kia, for instance, no one in the room saw that coming. And there was a big burst of laughter, even if I was alone, when the guy pops up and realizes we can eat zombie brains and we turn the story around. So I'd really love to know what the origins of these stories were. If you could please share, again, in no particular order. Please don't rush answer. Go ahead and rush answer.
Okay, so for me, it was two things. One is that, being an artist and the pressure of sort of like being expected to always deliver and not have a break and not, grieve and not be able to be a person or to be a woman and go through whatever you have to go through. And sort of that pressure of what do you have coming next? Can you not? You don't have time for a breather. You don't have time to grieve or to do anything. You're expected to always, sort of have this facade of everything is all right. And then the other thing is that my dad went through some mental health breakdowns at some point, and I sort of remember how the relatives sort of looked at him like, okay, now you've lost it. At that time, and how I remember visiting him in hospital and how he had been going through so much, and I felt like he was a little bit relieved to have the breakdown, to be allowed to just like let everything fall apart and just be, in that space of not knowing where where your brain is, where everything is, and just being like, what, I'm allowing myself the grace to just break down. So for me, that's where it was coming from those two sort of points of view.
Great. Thank you, Patience, and thank you so much for sharing so vulnerably. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you. Kamikaze?
Yeah, so for me, basically, where it all started from was, of course, when I went to Germany. It was my first time leaving Africa. So, and unfortunately, or still fortunately, I went during winter time. So it was really hardcore culture shock, you know. Like, I was like, oh my God, what's happening, you know? So we basically at school we had a kind of a school exercise to document. It was from a documentary class, and we had to kind of like document a certain kind of everyday situation or story that happens to you like pretty much every day. So I thought it was very cool maybe to just talk about the experience for me um, coming to Germany, leaving Africa for the first time. There's certain things, you know, that I saw that was just like really strange, you know, like for example, like the trees, you know, during the winter, there are no leaves on the trees. So I asked my friend, I'm like, are these trees sick? You know, what are they suffering from? What disease is this, you know? So they're like, no, it's because of the winter time, you know. So, you know, during autumn or summer, the leaves come back. So, you know, just small little things like that, you know, that I thought was a bit strange, but I thought I would share my experience maybe with someone that's not African to just kind of get my point of view, or like, you know, kind of have a certain kind of experience of what I'm feeling. But then as I was doing that, I also wanted to send a message across that no matter how different we are, we may come from different places, but in general, we're still under Mother Nature. You know, we're still human beings. We're all one at the end, and it's really to kind of show like that there's still unity. You know, it's really up to us. However different the skin color is, you know, we should just all like kind of come together despite our differences. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Kia, what was the origins of your story? If, I'm really hoping he's still with us.
I think it's
Kia,
frozen.
if you can hear me, please free to jump in whenever. You can interrupt any of us who's speaking because we believe we need this what you're saying as well. Um, Patience, I was wondering, I want to skip through to the ending because Kamikaze sort of referred to it. What was the feeling once the film was completed? You're able to get all these words out of you, and was there a catharsis of some sort? Did you feel like there was something? Were you approaching the subject matter from this point of view? Um, what did you feel at the end after putting all that out there and after finishing the film and after having it seen by people?
I mean, it's complicated to answer that because the process of making the film itself was very stressful, and we didn't have enough money to, you know, do everything. So I feel like even if there could have been that sort of catharsis, it got lost in the complexity of the industry, especially here, like in Uganda, having no real, you know, team to depend on, and you're struggling to get whatever you can. You're dealing with people who haven't really grown with you. It was my first short. There was so many things that I hadn't figured out how to, you know, go about, you know, if things go wrong. So it was very it was a very difficult process. But I remember the first screening, you know, when I was able to connect with some audiences and they really connected with the story. I think that was the time where I felt like, oh, okay, this was worth it. All the headache, all the, you know, the running around. So I think for me, the process itself was, of course, it was a learning process, but it was very stressful. But the part that really began to feel a little bit healing was connecting with some people and seeing them see themselves or see something they connect with, and talk about it, and sort of feel the energy and the emotions go through. That was quite great. Yeah.
Did you feel that there was a relevance? I really want to understand what the relevance of the communion was. It's what you named your film, and after she's gone through this imaginary life, she usually goes and breaks bread with her, uh, I presume, her parents, um, and and I just want to draw this back to sort of like the origins of the story. I like there's a sort of coming full circle there. And considering this is probably your first piece of work, there might have been some autobiographical elements in there. I'm just wondering what the relevance or what the significance of the communion was in the storytelling and what it means to you.
I think for me, it's really about when you don't have the kind of support that you need in the community around you, that, you know, communion with the dead seems, you know, like the closest thing you can go to have fellowship, to have communion with people that supported you. Because in case of this character, she was very supported by her parents when they were still around. And so it's this person who feels alone. And yes, it was a lot of me feeling like, in Uganda, it can be very lonely being a filmmaker. We don't have many trained people. You don't have a team that really understands you. And so the few people that you have, I don't know if you have this in Kenya, where everybody wants to go abroad and work from there. The people that are good enough are leaving. And so you look around and you're like, what is, you know, you're so alone. And so it came from that place of like needing to commune with some community that sort of understands you, and in this case where you find that community is not there, and before you sort of move forward, and the concept is that yes, you want to move forward, you want to be well, you want to find the people that you need, and of course later I am finding those people, but in the beginning I think what came through for me was that you need to make peace with the past before you move forward, or you need to pick some inspiration from the past before moving forward. And some of that past doesn't have to be physical. Some of that past can be as unclear as the dead, but as long as it makes sense to you, I think you know, the point is you just have to go there. You have to go to difficult places that give you some peace, so that you don't also pass on that brokenness to the people you intend to meet in the future.
I get that. Really. Yeah, you're back. Go ahead. We've been having a bit of a chat on the side. I'd really love to know what origins were of the idea behind Love and Brain. And I really would love to know what you feel after having seen people see it. I would really love to hear the story of the making of the film as well. Akia, you're muted. We can't hear you.
Yeah.
There we go.
Sorry. Thank you, everyone. My internet was a bit of a hassle for the past 20 minutes, and I apologize for that. So just to say a little about myself, my name is Semagngeta, but you can call me Kia. It's a bit hard to pronounce. I'm the filmmaker behind Love and Brain. So I think we were discussing about what was the idea behind the film's right. I couldn't hear what Mugambi was saying clearly, but so I've always been very interested about films, about watching films from a different perspective, and ideas, listening and thinking about ideas here that want to make films for festivals really focus on films that are about issues. It could be about women or gender violence. It could be about any issues that has been told a lot of times in the African cinema. And I didn't really want to make films that are about that. I just wanted to make films that are really fun, that any audience can enjoy. It's just about purely, it's just about what I really enjoy and what I thought of audience.
Mama, we lost him again just when I thought you were finding
I know. We'll bring him back at the moment he can come back on.
Yes.
May I say?
No worries.
Mugambi, can I?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. I just wanted to say to all, well, now two of you, that what I so enjoy about your
I
film
really love watching this
is,
type of films, and I just
sorry.
wanted to make films that anyone can enjoy and say, "Oh, it's from Ethiopia. It's amazing." So that's actually what they originated from. And I don't think you are listening. The internet is breaking up a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, we lost
Could you mute
people
your camera?
back here, and I'm glad that it kept going. Can you hear us, Kia?
Kia, did you hear me?
Can you hear me, Mugambi?
We can hear you. Just wondering if you could switch off your camera so that we can hear you better, because you keep dropping out. Yeah, perfect.
So
continue, please.
So
did he just mute the mic again? Or were you probably done?
He did mute the mic. He did.
Yeah.
Kia?
So
great.
Yes,
Good.
The network is bad here. I'm really sorry, guys. I really apologize. I had to turn
Don't worry,
my
we'll
camera
roll
off.
with the punches. Don't worry.
Yes, I'm very sorry about that. So I don't know when you stopped listening to what I was saying. So in summary, I was saying that the films, what I wanted to do was like purely a short film that anyone can enjoy and anyone can say, "Oh, I like that film. I would love to see more of that." And I was really happy about the comments that I got from lots of the audience, that some of the people actually said they would love to see a crowdfunding campaign for STS for this short film, and that's what I was really excited about.
Absolutely.
That's what I was thinking of, trying to make this into a TV series that's not about African issues or the, I'm quoting this. Yeah, it's not about poverty, clean water, and it's nothing about that. It's just purely fun, and any audience can enjoy. That's what I want to do, and this is the idea.
All right.
I love that.
Thank you very much.
I love that.
Yeah.
May I make my point, sir, please? Mugambi?
Go ahead. Let's go.
Yeah. Okay. What I wanted to say is the thing that I love about all the films in this section and the work that you presented is the vulnerability and the strength that you just allowed yourselves to be yourselves. With Kia making a film that was just completely irreverent and just fun, to give yourself permission to be fun. Kamikazi, your film is so just allowing yourself to look and be curious and have a slightly anthropological, study at where you are, because it's so new. And Patience, the way you are willing to share how you step into the past, as uncomfortable as it is, with people that are no longer, in order to make some semblance of peace for yourself, really speaks to where it is that we need to be. It's our trajectory, what we hope we can do more of. So really, thank you for that. That was it.
Absolutely. I'm really thankful for that, and I'm glad about how these films really got to give us a piece of view. I really would like to ask Kamikazi, what did you feel? Like you sort of circled back. You said you circled back to the feeling that the one thing that makes us come together is Mother Nature. Even if you had experienced Mother Nature in two completely different forms, you've experienced Mother Nature as presented by the environment of Rwanda and the environment of Germany. First of all, when you were documenting all this, did you know that this was the film you wanted to make? Were you figuring it out as you went along? And was this the final film you presented to your class? What and at the little because I know they have a showcase of your films at the end. Looking back on your experience of the 5 months that you were in Germany and seeing the combination of that presented to everyone, what did that feel like? And how do you feel about the film of time afterwards, now that time has gone by?
Yeah. Very good question. So the first, for the film itself, we had to know what we were going to do before we got out to shoot, because it initially was like a school project, right? So we had to give an idea, yeah, basically of what we'd like to go out there and come up with. So I generally had an idea. I had the idea of, first of all, there had to be something poetic, and just kind of showing how different that environment was, you know. So because it was very like culture shock, like it really hit me really hard, you know. And so we kind of went along, like especially for the certain kind of shots, we kind of just went along as we started production already. So we kind of just felt, what is this, what is it that captures really the feelings, you know, of how different it is. So that's how we came up with those scenarios, you know, like at the bar, people just, you know, playing cards, you know. So I did kind of write the poem first, and then kind of, I think that made it easier now to go out into production and shooting. The other question was how, sorry, please remind me.
The question was, you were presenting at the end, you're in Germany. What
Yeah,
was the sort of idea of the combination of all your feelings? You weren't the
yeah,
same person presenting the film that you
yes,
were starting to make the film. How did that feel?
exactly. Yeah. So what was that like? Um, I think
Yep.
it's always, it's really, I mean, you're always a bit in doubt, especially doing production. I don't know, maybe that's just me, until I finally see yeah, it's all of us, right? Yeah, so until the final actually screening, and yes, indeed, what you saw is what I screened to everyone, the classmates. Um, I did, the feedback was a bit hardcore, I would say. I mean, like, they didn't really have much to say about it, because they felt it was too much of a personal opinion. So, you know, so there was a bit, I guess people couldn't really speak on someone else's opinion, you know what I mean? So that kind of, I didn't take it very well, because I always do want to get something from someone, whether it's negative, whether, you know, just, you know. So it was a bit hard, but I feel like I did kind of generally share what my experience was through the film. When I came back to Rwanda, I applied. It was part of the the Rwanda Film Festival, and it did win Best Short Film. So the people here in
Hey,
Rwanda.
congratulations.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, so that was very encouraging, you know, that people here at home kind of, you know, were able to kind of get that experience, you know, from the film. So I feel like, yeah, I just have to be, you know, how you're satisfied with whatever you can, you know, make. So I'm pleased with it. I'm pleased with it, honestly. Yeah.
As you as you absolutely should be. I sort
Thank
of,
you.
I had to say, I had the same experience with the film I presented at the end. And I was like, I can't wait for 10 years from now when I have a huge, like, critical mass of African filmmakers that start to teach the world that film from this part of the world is going to be different. You don't have to use your style to, hold up and say this is what we experience film as, and this is why your film was strange. So onwards and upwards with you in your career.
Can't wait for that either, man. Really.
I mean, I think it's about time, you know. Nthiga,
there's a question for Kia.
Yes, please.
There's a question for Kia. Audience wants to know why zombies. Are you a fan of zombie movies? Like, which one was it? The Walking Dead, I Am Legend, and etc.
So I've been reading the comments and it's really amazing. And I just found out that my movie is actually in the Afro bubblegum genre of African films. And I was Googling what's
it absolutely is. I agree.
Yeah, and I just found out that that's what I actually wanted. I didn't know the term, but that's what I actually wanted to do. It's a great.
You're in good company.
Yes, it's really great. So, question I think is more, I think, and the question was, why zombies? And are you a big fan of The Walking Dead and I'm a Legend? I think I wanted to make movies about zombies because I really wanted to work on something that everyone knows. You know, that cliche story everyone knows, but hasn't seen from the different perspective, and seeing and watching it from a very different perspective, saying that what if zombies are being hunted for their brains, and what if Africans make and Ethiopians make this kind of movies, like short films about zombies, fun films, and that was what I wanted to do. And I really loved action films and anything that's really filled with action.
Goodness. Every time I feel like we're getting back in the groove, you know.
Yeah.
Sort of,
so painful, so damn painful.
Yeah. I have something I've said to Nitumwesiga, because I think I'm so fascinated by the fact that this film about someone that goes and presents a poem to an imaginary audience that on an imaginary stage goes and has an imaginary celebratory dinner with the very real presence of her parents, but who happen to be not there in the material play that the film takes place in. And I'm fascinated by the fact that you said that this was a story about the difficulty and the loneliness of filmmaking, sort of drawing a parallel between how you have to make the work in solitude and present the work in solitude almost to a zero audience. And speaking about the difficulty, is there anything that you've learned, sort of like the film, or about yourself that you're willing to apply in the next work, or what is it about you that you feel you've carried through from this process? I really hope it's not just the fact that art is a lonely thing and filmmaking is a lonely thing. I'm also looking forward to how you've been built and what you're willing to pay forward into the next project.
Incidentally, actually, my next short that I made wasn't too lonely. I had a great team, but it's also about loss. Only this time, it's a little bit different and sort of delves into how personal loss is, or how personal it is to lose a person, no matter how surrounded you are by people. So I think, in a way, I see myself growing through that process, and I'm just, like, happy to know that, from the time I made that to the next time that I made another short, there was a significant change in terms of my own community, but also in terms of maybe the thing that I would say doesn't change is the complexity of grief. It's not something anyone can teach you about, and that has sort of remained constant. And sort of still in my work and in my life continues to be a very difficult thing to talk about. Like, when you lose the people that are your world, that are your rock, there's no amount of preparation for it there's no amount of lessons that can make you ready or anything. Yeah.
As it goes to making, that same thing, especially this side of the world. I have a question from Guachilo to you, Nitumwesiga. She said it's an interesting concept to Kamikazi, talk about the response of film inside the country and outside. And she'd love to hear the same for you. I know you made hints at it, but I really would love to hear about what various responses have been, depending on where your film has been seen.
Sorry, was that for me? I didn't get that well.
Oh, sorry. I'm just going to read the question again from Guatilo. She says, interesting contrast to listen to Kamikazi talk about the response to her film inside the country and outside. Sorry about that. Would love to hear the same for Nitumwesiga. There been contrast? Yeah.
Well, for me, it was very. First of all, I've been able to have audiences in like different spaces, but I've enjoyed mostly intimate spaces that are like cafes or artist studios and stuff. I think for me, those have been the most the places where we've had the most exchange. I toured with the film in the UK and you know, had artists and students and different kinds of people see it. But for me, what was different is the themes that people connected with. For instance, the more African audiences were looking to this idea of like reaching into the past and the fact that our dead are not dead and we can still depend on them and things like that. Whereas the you know, other audiences, you know, that weren't African were mostly, you know, sort of looking at only the grief part, or not necessarily only, but mostly the, you know, how to deal with grief and mental health and things like that. Whereas for African audiences, it hasn't really been about, you know, mental health per se, but more about, you know, like wellness and the idea of community and how it supersedes the physical or, you know, the material world.
I'm snapping my fingers, yo. That's profound. Yo, I get that. That. Wow. Okay. All right. I
You're muted though.
okay. I've said so much, but I really felt everything that you said there. Like where others are seeing an ending, we're just seeing a continuation. That's what I love about us. The ancestors are restless and coming and they're speaking to us regardless. I love it. The people are asking, what are your next projects? What are you working on next? I would like to add onto that what your experience of filmmaking so far is going to inform in the making of those films. So please tell us a little bit about what's coming up next and what are the significant things that are looking into these projects now that you're going to be striding very confidently into them. And Kia, if you go back, I would love to know what it was like actually making the film because I'm not sure we've spoken about that. So Kamikazi, Nitumwesiga, you'd go first. Yeah, Kia.
Okay, I can go first. For me, it's a lot of projects since then. I just completed a short film that was supposed to be released anytime now, but the pandemic has made it difficult for the work that's been in post-production. I'm also working on another short with some collaborators in South Africa. So I think for me, what has been the lesson is collaborating across the continent, because most of our countries are not self-contained enough to have everybody that you need. And so I've allowed myself to lend my own help to filmmakers outside outside of Uganda, but also to find collaboration with producers from all over the continent. So I'm really enjoying that. And the pandemic has sort of like stressed the need for that, because now there's like no limit to collaboration. I'm working on 3 different features at the moment as we complete the 2 shorts that I'm working on, and I'm really
wait,
looking
hold on.
forward
I'm
to
sorry,
that.
I have to stop you there. Did you say that you're on 2 shots and 3 features?
Yes.
Did you say 3?
Mhm.
Okay. All right. All the best. How on earth are you able to get time all that between all that work? That's madness. A good
I
madness.
think the cool thing is having producers, because the 3 features have different producers, and having a good producer is like everything you need to focus. So I really appreciate like having producers that are like putting in the work and being like, okay, you know, so I sort of divide the time. I'm like, this month is for project A. I take a weekend off and I, you know, go to the next project on the next month. Knowing that my producers are still continuing with the other work of the other projects.
Oh, wonderful. Words to the wise. I just have to ask this as a writer. Are you writing these 3 projects simultaneously?
Yeah, but I cannot write at the same time. That's why I said I give each project time, and then I have like a weekend off, and then I go into a different project, because it's impossible to write at the same time. Yeah.
Oof. Yeah, I mean that still sounds the same time to me because I got it only one. But that's my attention span, guys. Kamikaze, go ahead, please.
First of all, I just have to say patience, like, wow, power to you, girl. That's amazing. Just working on all these things, you know, at the same time. So much power to you. Ever since that the first short, Breath of Fresh Difference. Sorry, it's always hard for me, even me, to pronounce it. Ever since then, I did do my first feature documentary on my grandfather. So yeah, that I finished that, I think 2018. I've been working on music videos. I have a couple of friends who are in the music industry, so I've also kind of been tapping into that, you know. Apart from that, I get a bit of commissioned work for documentaries for different NGOs and stuff like that. But currently, right now, I'm doing my master's in arts and culture management. So that's kind of like a everyday thing, but I still do all these other small projects here and there, basically. Yeah. So.
You congratulated Nitumwesiga for all the work he's doing, and also hit us with a barrage of work that you're doing. So you guys are just okay, cool. I feel like very inspiration. Akia, if you're there, I would love to know what's next. But before you come to that, I'd love to know what the process was or what the experience was of Love and Praise. What it is you're working on next, and what you're carrying forward from your experience of making Love and Praise into that. You there, Kia? Your mic is unmuted, but we can't hear you. I'm just going to look for more questions from the people watching. Yeah, someone is reminding me because she is on and I'm going to be caught. We have been sitting in traffic jam for so long. We've been on the road for about 6 hours, so we're just going to explain to the cops that that's the situation. And if anything happens, we'll let you know and we'll be on that. Kia, are you here? Can you hear us? We're trying to hear you. Love to hear what you say as we come to the end of this wonderful conversation. Yeah, I think yeah, trying to connect and I think he might have dropped off again. Okay. Well, how is there any final questions you want to ask before we hear the final statements from these awesome filmmakers?
No, I'm just really happy to hear what you're all up to, and that like in the region that we have community. There's something very reassuring about that. Because like Patience said, it's really lonely. It can just feel like you're in the trenches on your own. But not only are you not alone, you have allies. And I think that gives you some sort of fortitude, you know? So thank you.
That's right. Yeah. Really, really lonely, but somehow being in this conversation and realizing that it's not lonely for everyone makes it that it's lonely for everyone makes it less lonely for me. And thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kamikazi Mpyisi, with your final sort of rounding it up comments, is there anything you want to add? Take kind of how, whatever, anything that brings us to a warm conclusion. Please go ahead.
I would just say thank you so much for this platform, for this opportunity. It's so beautiful to see other filmmakers, to get to know other filmmakers. You know, I feel like now if I'm ever in Kampala, I know there's Patience. If I'm ever in Nairobi, you know, it's such a beautiful thing. And I am just in awe in all these from all the films that we've seen, and I'm just hoping to collaborate with all of you guys at one point, because I just believe in the power so much of collaboration. There's always something you can share from someone else, especially in this East African community. I'm so glad that there is a community, as you mentioned before, Hawa. So I'm just very grateful for everyone, and thank you so much. And let's do this again. Yeah.
Absolutely. Kia, please, can you hear us? Can you say something? Last comments?
I don't think anyone would fault us for trying. We have tried. Kia has tried his very best. Kia, thank you for a wonderful film. That's all I'll say. And it was subverting a genre. And I look forward to seeing the other genres you're going to subvert and other stories that you're going to tell.
And please start a GoFundMe. I think if you start a GoFundMe, we'll put it on our platform and we can do something about that. Yeah, we can. I think it's possible, really.
I agree.
If I got like even 5 minutes every month or so of zombies, I think I could do it. I could get behind that, you know? I could totally get behind that.
I totally get it.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for your work.
Nitumwesiga, please go ahead. Yeah. Brett, you can.
Yeah, I think I agree with Kamikazi that, you know, the future is in collaboration. So I'm so glad to like meet you. I was at Mashariki African Film Festival. So next time I'll know there's somebody I can meet. And it's a shame this hasn't been physical so we can all meet and really talk. But it's still cool to meet online. It's the way we meet now. It also makes sense where you don't have to fly, you don't have to take a bus. You can just, you know, sit anywhere and talk and collaborate. So I'm really excited about that. And for me, you know, what even before the pandemic, I think I was really getting excited about collaborating with other African filmmakers, writing, you know, if I'm not directing, writing for people their scripts and also getting other people to work with me. So it's really cool. And I'm glad you're organizing this festival. So thank you guys for not pulling out, just doing it anyways. Yeah, I hope to attend next year's in person.
This is what we want more than anything. Like, I can really more than anything. Kia, can you summarize? Yeah. Can you? Please tell me you can hear us.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I'm really sorry about how terrible our internet connection is. And
Never you mind.
I
Never
think
you mind.
I'll make a short film about it, maybe someday.
Say. What do you want to
So,
summarize? Tell us.
yes. So I just wanted to say thank you for everyone for the great comments. I've been able to read the great comments from lots of people, and you can actually see more of my work from my website guzofilms.com. It's GUZO films.com. It's my film production company, and we make a lot of short films, and currently we are making a 10-episode action series. It's as I said before, it's not about any issue. It's questions I have about society. It's questions I have about the judgment, the justice systems, and it's purely action and fun that the audience really would love to see. It's not about any kind of issue. So we are working on that, and it's a 10 episode series, and I am writing, producing, and directing that myself. So it's really a struggle, and it's a bit hard. And I'm also trying to produce. I'm also trying to find producers from the international market to bring love and brain into an African phenomenon, and something that comes from Africa and Ethiopia that's purely fun, and anyone from any country in the world can actually see and enjoy, because from to the core it's entertainment and it's storytelling, and anyone can relate to that. And I'm trying to work on that now. And I think I've answered the questions, and I've been on and off from the network. And let me know if there's anything else I need to answer.
We will find you. We
All
will
right.
find you, Kia, and your work. Thank you.
And one more time, that website is guzofilms.com. GUZOfilms.com. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's in the comments. Yeah.
All right. Is it wonderful?
Sorry, I didn't hear that.
And no, don't worry, Kia. We got you. We got you. We are together. All right. And that, my friends, brings us to the end of a
Right.
wonderful discussion at the end of the inaugural Manyatta Screens online festival. Wonderful films from East Africa screened over the course of 4 days. I'd be remiss to not give the last thing to be said tonight by the co-founder of Manyatta Screening, not sure if it's founder or co-founder, Hawa Essuman. Hawa, I have to say thank you much for making this happen. We have had a wonderful, spectacular 4 days. You have given a platform for filmmakers to have their films seen. East African filmmakers are grateful for the work that you're doing. Audiences are grateful for the work that you're doing. You've sparked so much conversation. We're so grateful for that. Is there anything you want to say to lead us out of this? Because when you're Baba and Mama, go ahead.
I just want to say thank you, everybody, for your work, for your time, for your generosity, for your patience, for your indulgence, and for the community that we have. I mean, we built, Phoebe and I built this thing, and we really hoped that, you know, that we threw something into the ether and that people would respond, and boy, did you. We could not thank you enough. And the only thing that I could say, I think, and I speak for our entire team, is just keep making the work. If you keep making the work, we'll keep showing it and we'll keep supporting it. And on that note, we don't know when our next one will be because we have to regroup and blah, 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 but it will be a next one for sure. So we will look out on our socials for the next call. There will be a call. Please, please, please send your films. We want to see them. And also, shameless plug, we need your donations so that we can keep doing it. So we've got a tipping jar with links underneath the comments and stuff. Please, just nothing is too big and nothing is too small. Every little bit helps. And from the bottom of all our hearts, just thanks. You do us proud. And have a great night. We could not have asked for anything more. And on that very much cliffhanger, because right now all I'm thinking about is Mugambi needs to get home because, you know, how he would feel.
No, I'm
Yes.
home. I'm
All our
worried for
prayers.
my driver, who happens to be my brother. I think we'll be fine. We'll keep you posted. So, guys, thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
being here. Thank
It's
you.
been wonderful.
And thank you to
thank
everyone
you, thank
who's
you.
watched
Thank
and
you.
tuned
Thank
in.
you.
Have a good night.
Thank
And
you,
good
everyone. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Ciao. Ciao.
Bye.